Preparing live stream. Setting it up. See, I'm glad I'm doing this now. Otherwise, I wouldn't know.
Keep doing. Oh, there we go. Just trying to get it to go hair. That works.
We are live. Okay.
Go hair. That works.
Okay, and away we go. Hello, everybody, and welcome to another show of Closer Encounters Live. Hello, everybody, and welcome to another show of Closer Encounters Live. I am your host, Clarence Mitchell, coming to you live from somewhere in Minnesota. I am your host, Clarence Mitchell, coming to you live from somewhere in Minnesota. Tonight's guest, J.D. Jeffrey. Tonight's guest, J.D. Jeffrey. Tonight's show, Space Oddity, Ancient Astronauts, Religion, The Final Frontier. Tonight's show, Space Oddity, Ancient Astronauts, Religion, The Final Frontier. Tonight's show, Space Oddity, Ancient Astronauts, Religion, The Final Frontier. Well, hello, everybody. Welcome back to Closer Encounters Live. A little bit different deal here tonight. We definitely, let me see here. I got an echo here. Let me see if I can stop that real quick. Let's see here. There we go. That's much better. Okay, I had two different speakers going on. Okay, anyway, here we are. We are live on Facebook. It looks like we have a couple people with us. John Gilbert, Jody's with us. Cool. Okay, let's see here. Want to make sure we are doing everything right. All right. And I have Mr. J.D. Jeffries with us there in the background. Hello, J.D. How are you, sir?
How are you doing tonight, Mitchell?
Cool. I am going to bring you up here on, let's see here if I can get this right. There we go. I'm going to bring you up on full screen there. Okay.
All right. The Eagle has landed.
Absolutely. Okay, cool. Can you still see my screen there at the top there? I think so, right?
Yeah, I can see you fine.
Okay, cool. Just wanting to make sure everything looks here. All righty. Okay. Well, like I said, tonight is about Space Oddity, ancient astronauts, religions, and the final frontier. Pretty crazy stuff. We've been talking back and forth, JD, about a bunch of different things. And basically, it all started because of one post that we kind of ran across there in the ancient agenda room or whatever it was there, I think. But it was kind of funny that the comments and stuff that were made and whatever. And I'm like, we should do a show about this. And here we are. So yeah, I thought it was pretty cool.
Thank you for the invite, for instance. Many people get into this topic, and so I appreciate you having me on to get into this and we discuss when no man is born before. Or woman, or child.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely right. Let's see here. I'm trying to see. Just making sure everything looks good and going good here. Okay, I'm just hoping we're not skipping or anything here on Facebook. I'm sure anybody that has joined us, if you would use the comment section, if something is wrong or whatever, let us know, and we'll see if we can get this straightened out. But so far it looks like we're doing okay. So
have a good time. Everybody strap themselves in.
That's right.
Bill, put your helmet on.
Ain't that the truth? Put your helmets on. Yes.
Infinity and beyond. We're going for tonight, folks. I hope everybody enjoys it. This isn't done because of the belief system. This is what we do. This is CSI history. We go to the facts. We look at what crime scenes available and piece it together for the court case. This is the outcome. So everybody enjoy tonight's show. It's going to be fun and informative.
Absolutely. So what would you like to start off with there, JD? And we'll do it this way. And
I would say the main topic at hand for when it comes to the ancient astronaut theory, which people will find out is based around scripture. It comes from Zechariah Sitchin, so why not put there? He's the forefather who brought this to global knowledge, shall we say. He wasn't the start of it, but he made it popular.
Okay, I'm getting a thing here saying that you're a little bit hard to hear, JD. So we need to.
Something going with my mic.
Now just got to get a little bit closer to you so they can hear you a little bit better.
Well, I have my mic right in front of my face.
There you go.
Okay, so maybe it wasn't close enough. How's this?
There you go.
Static interference. Well, this is the first round across the planet. We just made our first lap, folks, and every now and then it does cut out when we get past the stratospheres. We got to watch out for the Van Allen belts. They'll cut us out a little bit here and there, too.
That's right.
Outside of the room, it's going to go quiet. Trust me. Here we were with Zechariah Sitchin and his ancient astronaut theory.
Yeah.
It was not really his to start with, but he did popularize it.
Mm-hmm. Well, I'm going to be honest with you now. I used to be a Zechariah Sitchin person. I bought most of his books back in the day. And of course, that's before internet or anything like that. And, everything was based on what he supposedly come up with from the, cuneiform text and stuff. And unfortunately, as time went on and internet came out and you could actually go through and do some research on your own, I found out that either he was the biggest bullshitter of all time or, something was going on there. because nothing that he said in his books was what the text actually said, as far as I'm concerned. Um, your thought on that?
Well, I confess, I was a Zechariah Sitchin fan at one time. I read his books. So, for all you out there listening, I see your hands are up, King. Don't feel bad. You're in company with Clarence and I.
There you go. Yep.
We did all believe at one time, and I'll be honest, really, Clarence, I look at it this way. People gravitate to what makes the most sense to take back. We all know something's wrong with our history. We're not exactly 100% story that makes the most sense to us. It may not be exactly what we believe, but it makes more sense than the other stories we've given.
Right.
And I think really what happened with Sitchin, he came out with his first book, The 12th Planet, in 1976, and after that, prior to that, I should say, Eric von Daniken came up with Chariots of the Gods, which worked up the planet to the possibility of ancient astronaut intervention.
Right.
Yes, I have his books right here.
There you go. Yeah.
So Sitchin actually picked up from there and came up with 12th Planet in 76. And it made more sense than what we believed. Prior to that, we were told gods or demons or angels or giants were the constructors of these ancient monuments we saw across our planet that we knew we were given from the beginning of time. And so far, we can't recreate them 4,500 years later. The only possible theory would be alien intervention. In the 70s, of course, we have Star Trek going for a while, not just on television, but movies. We have in 79, Star Wars comes out, all kinds of, War of the Worlds was out. Prior to that, in the 60s, and all kinds of ancient astronaut, alien theory movies and books, science fiction. So,
right,
the world accepted it, and by early 80s, the world was starting to accept it because it made more sense than what we did. However, we have to remember here we are in 2018, and Sitchin put his book out 1976. So we're looking at approximately 50 years difference.
right.
Technology has updated since then. As you said, he could read cuneiform. 50 years ago, there were people that weren't even born who
exactly
school, and then they gravitated towards it for a career and studied cuneiform, Sumerian, Babylonian, Akkadian, and so on. And now we have professionals, universities that have linked all this knowledge together and put them on the internet in databases, lexicons. So anybody can go and look, see if this word, where it comes from, what it actually means, or even if it exists at all. And because of that, Mr. Sitchin's got caught not updating his research, so a lot of it will go by the wayside. And very little of it will be accepted.
Well, I just find it kind of funny that even still today, even on the show Ancient Aliens, people like Giorgio and a few others will actually quote him when it comes to words like, say, like Anunnaki, those who from heaven came. That is not what Anunnaki actually means in the cuneiform text. And they also talk about Nibiru as being an actual planet, and that's not what Nibiru was. Nibiru was just a city,
Yes.
So
in the poem, I'm going to see if I get the name right, probably one. Emu Emlish, that's where the story comes from, and it's about Enlil. The story is actually about Enlil. Enlil is of royal blood, and he's going to the city Nibiru, not Nibiru, but Nibiru, going to the city Nibiru. And as royalty, you always pre-announce yourself, and then they have a ceremony, red carpet when you show up. And that's what this is. This is his pre-announcement to the city that he's coming on arrival, and he's royal blood. He tells about his mother, the royal queen. He tells about his journey, and he gives a very scientific overall opinion of Earth through this poem. It's actually a poem. Because Sumerians understood. They very, wherever they got the knowledge, they were very intelligent. They understood that poems, songs, rhymes, we remember this stuff really, really super easy, as opposed to trying to remember a paragraph of words. Write it in a song, everybody's got it. The whole world's singing along. They understood. So that's what this story is. It's really a poem. It goes on. It's very earthly tale. Very earthly tale. As you say, he's talking about the prince of the sea, which he is, which is first royal blood. So he's a royal blood.
Okay.
He's completely human. He's not going off world to meet up with another planet or anything like that. Mr. Sitchin didn't understand cuneiform enough to get a good grasp of what he was reading. He didn't. Now, here's what I really want to get into when we talk about Mr. Sitchin. He didn't cross. This is where everybody gets a mistake, okay? They make the mistake of thinking that Mr. Sitchin cross-referenced what he read in the cuneiform tablets. Now, people with cuneiform tablets are a clay baked tablet that you take a stick and you make writing in it, which actually kind of looks like crow's feet all over this mud tablet that they carved. Now you have a tablet with a writing on it. That's cuneiform tablets. When they were found, there was over 30,000 of these tablets found. And I want you to understand, very few of these tablets have anything on them of good information. Mostly, and you can look this up, it's all children, right? So they're remembering these lines that we're talking about, these poems. Like the teaching class. Now there's thousands that haven't been deciphered yet, that's true. But the ones that have, you can be found on the internet through lexicon databases. So Mrs. Sitchin interpreted these cuneiforms. Now what he also did was look at this Akkadian and Babylonian steles and tried to figure their astronomy out. When he did that, he lumped everything together. And today, when you look at his research, everybody thinks that he read on the cuneiforms is what the steles are talking about. They're two totally different things, two totally different interpretations. He did not use one to decipher the other. He deciphered them both separately. Those are in his footnotes of his book, people. CSI history. Take it back to the beginning. Take it all apart, dissect it. Even he came out and he said it clearly that the story got away with him. And what I'm saying is 50 years later, we can look at the steles and we can equate with modern technology and astronomy what the steles are actually looking at. They're explaining astronomical laws. So we can do that. We know what the lexicon databases for Sumerian cuneiform text was telling us. So now we can actually look at both and try to read some of this stuff properly. What Mr. Sitchin couldn't have known 50 years ago because technology wasn't up. So we shouldn't really be too rash on him. He was doing the best he could 50 years ago. Let's not forget, 100 years ago, people were walking around saying he couldn't fly. He'd fly all over now. So his technology 50 years ago is so outdated that he's a new interpretation. However, it has very little to do with what he done. Unfortunately, for those believers, there's no destination of a planet coming into our solar system interfering with ancient astronauts jumping out to steal our gold. It's not going to happen. And at one time, I was a believer. I was the guy. I was that guy.
Right.
Come and take me for a spin on your machine. I want to know all about your machine. I want to know all about you, where you come from. I was grateful.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. I agree.
You're going to kick me off because I'm going to ask too many questions.
No, not hardly. Not hardly. Uh, Trying to
So
figure out here what happened to my
I've read all his books. I've read other books by different interpreters to the ancient astronaut theory. I've read various different denominations, scripture books to see where it came from because he footnotes, such in footnotes where he got it from. It's like he footnotes everything. He footnotes the fact that in the Bible it states God, the gods made us. So the interpretations through mythology and what he thought he was mixing in there, tuning
all
it
right.
for him, he came up with his ancient astronaut. But really, he states it came out of the Bible. So I read all the different denominations, scriptures, whatever I could get my hands on, the missing gospels, the Talmud, the Torah. He was mixing in there. I wanted
Sure.
to know where it was all coming from, what was the truth behind it.
So
With modern astronomy, what a huge help it's going to try to look at what other classifications done. People don't, as you and I talked about this, people automatically believe aliens come from the Pleiades, aliens come from Orion, aliens come from Arcturus. They don't actually look into the astronomy kind of solar system, what star area is made up of, what kind of gas, what kind of
right.
mediums, what kind of radiation, what this is actually. I've heard before people say the aliens come from the Pleiades, aliens come from Orion, aliens come from just because the stars. So actually, look into the these star systems. A lot of them are possible. Pleiades are given at 100 to 150 million years old at the oldest. There's nothing there but marsupial
Hmm.
bacteria. Orion's too explosive. It bursts stars and suns. It exploded 12 million years ago. Nothing can live there. Radiation volatile. It has two nebulas that are continually going on.
Right.
Sirius has a star. It actually has two stars that revolve around its center sun. That center sun continues to throw out radiation, and every now and then it appears like the other two planets are getting closer to Sirius because Sirius is radiation expanding so brightly it looks like it's growing. So it's radiating the other two planets. Nothing but good there. When you understand astronomy and biology and look into the anthropology of different sciences to species, where it could be, where they could be, where they could go. We have to factor in these things to realize if there is an alien species, type of be it carbon-based or silicon-based body like we have, they have to overcome these areas to get to Earth.
Mm-hmm.
And it's possible if they're millions and millions of years old, but they can't come from an area that's too volatile for them to live or too young for them to have grown to advance beyond. And that's just really going with.
Yeah. See, now I have to, I have to say that there definitely are, at least the grays anyway, because, as you may or may not know, I did have a visitation of my own back in the 70s when I was a youngster. So, you know, uh, with that being said, I have to say that they are definitely real. you know.
Well, I've got my own theories on that too, Curtis. You know that. There's various different things. That's a possibility for what the grays are.
Hmm.
But I know one thing, regardless, they don't hurt anybody. When he comes back with a missing finger or missing toe or part of their earlobes cut off, part of their tongue's missing. Nobody comes back with an eye missing. None of that was ever recorded. None of it. You know, the most you ever hear is they've had a little metal object put in them, or they've impregnated, but no actual physical harm. You have the mental horror that you're not in control. That's all it really is. You have the mental horror that you're not in control. It would be the same thing as, I suppose, being put under by a doctor or something like that.
Mhm.
Just if you're awake, you can't say anything, you can't do anything. Hey doc, I can feel you cutting me. You can't say that, you're under to a point. I can
Right.
imagine the same thing as that. So you're actually afraid of not having the ability to communicate and understand what's going on. Nobody gets hurt. It's just a mental feeling. I've read quite a bit about alien abductions. I've read them all. I've read some pretty horrifying stories, but I can't find any backup proof to verify it. I've read them all.
Sure. Yeah. And there's tons of them. I mean, many stories out there. I mean, look at like Fire in the Sky. You know, they made that movie. You know,
Great
you know,
story.
yeah,
Travis Walton, great
yeah,
story.
yeah. Travis Walton. And you got Betty and Barney Hill.
Barney Hill,
Yeah, and the list goes on and on. And you know that's another thing too. Now you remember back what was in the '60s and that when they started Project Blue Book and
it was in 1957 when it started.
'67, yeah. And you know the really crazy thing about that was the fact that one of the main lead investigators, or the main lead investigator, Mr. Hynek, after it was all said and done, he became a front runner of proving. I mean, he believed in this stuff. So how do you go from a disbeliever to a believer? You know, like he did. And I mean, he was pretty hardcore. You know.
For me, I never trust government officials. I apologize, Clarence.
Well, that's
it's so easy for them to get paid and go out and lie and do that.
some of them do. Absolutely.
I used to work for the government, but I don't know more because this is what I found out. Meanwhile, none of it's true. They're just being paid. You take the truth and the real truth down a rabbit hole that's not even existent. Like the Flat Earth movie. That was a prime example. Truth seekers out there wake up to stuff like that.
Sure.
That's government. That isn't just somebody who's not quite there. Like too many drinks or whatever. That's government. And you will see they have more than one person propagating.
Mm-hmm.
So they're very intelligent. They want to throw you away off of the truth. It's what's really going on. They've done it for years. Same with religion, which is what we're going to get into some of this scripture, what's really behind, what's really written in the Bible. But they don't even want what's in the Bible.
Well, here's the thing about that. Now, I've always, my father was an ordained minister. A lot of people don't know that, and some of them do, I guess, you know, whatever. But after my visitation and stuff, it totally changed my whole outlook on Christianity and different things like that. And when I went back and started reading the Bible again, especially as I got older, it actually read to me as an alien story, so to speak. You know, yeah, you know, with the creation of Earth, the creation of man, yada yada yada.
Alien input in the 1970s in regards to what the Bible was talking about, and one of those came from the NASA official who created a sketch of a UFO that he said was what Ezekiel and Lewis was.
Mm-hmm.
That pretty much what touched off the Bible's ancient astro, in my recollection. Can't remember his name offhand, but he was an NASA scientist. He did a rendering of what he believed was Ezekiel Wheels. He actually went on TV on NBC or something. Some night program is special. I believe that.
Right.
At the time, I believed it. I don't today because I've done more research. I understand what Ezekiel's wheels was talking about. Bible is very, very scientific, extremely scientific, extremely astronomical, and it will teach you everything step by step if you follow stories. But when you follow the stories, you have to understand a lot of these stories are retold on another character's name, just a little bit differently. And then in that story, you'll find additional details. And that's why I'm still from reading. I grew up Roman Catholic, folks. So I went to church, geez, at least twice a week, Wednesdays and Sundays, but also had to learn it during class once a day.
Mm-hmm.
45 class. No, I didn't like it. I got in a lot of trouble asking questions I shouldn't have because I didn't understand some of the stories they were telling me just didn't fit. So then when I got to high school, which I wasn't there very long, I only did about 6 months of grade 9, and that was it. I decided I was going to take theology. So I'm going to figure out what this book's really talking about. I didn't figure that out years.
Right.
Later, I gave up on it. But once I started, it's funny, I got interested in the Shroud of Turin. That's where I got interested. That's a whole other story. And right about then, they brought out the Dead Sea Scrolls, and I read those. And then I went back to KJV, which I want to mention, folks. If you have a KJV or a Bible, throw it away. In 1964, they changed it. So get yourself a pre-1964 Bible. You can find out what was written in there. I don't use a new Bible. When I write to people, I answer stuff on the internet, I have this Bible here. This one here. This is the one I use.
That's King James Version?
Yeah, it's actually, I have to look it up. I don't think it is King James. They're all the same, basically. Oh, when you get pre-1964, they're all the same.
I was going to say, yeah, it must be King James. Yeah. Yeah, you're right.
That's what I really should be saying. Okay, so this was a gift in 1960, this Bible, to a family member. But its edition is, I believe, 1911, first print. So that's how old this one goes back. You probably can't see it, but it's right there. Anyhow, I use an older Bible because I understand that the new Bible has been changed. So when you get into the older Bible, the stories are a little bit different. So they have a lit, like Sumerian, like cuneiform. You change one word, it changes the story.
Right.
Anunnaki. When you change Anunnaki, you change the story. So I went back to the older Bible so I could find out what was missing in our history. Now, when it came to Ezekiel Wheels, he starts, again, this was a NASA scientist who came up with the story that it was a UFO. It looks like an inverted cone. On the corner, each corner has legs with rotating propellers like a helicopter. Back then it was interesting. Today it doesn't make any sense whatsoever for that kind of object to fly in our atmosphere, let alone in space. So what Ezekiel's wheels is actually talking about, Ezekiel tells you clearly what he's talking about. He says he looked through, and it was off the top of my head.
Now, is that the one with the wheel inside a wheel? Is that the story?
I have it written on my website,
Mm-hmm.
but I should remember. I should be able to remember it. So he says he looked through a sea of glass, and the heavens parted, and he heard a roar. And in that roar, he saw wheels within wheels within wheels turning. Each way, there were 4 cherubs outside these wheels. And each way the wheels turned, the cherubs turned. then you hear a voice.
Hmm.
Give him instruction. So really what the Bible's telling you when they're telling you about these kind of stories, this is astronomy. He's telling you that you see a glass parted, you can see through the heavens. That's a telescope end. That telescope end has a sea of glass. And when you look through that, the heavens will part.
Okay.
He did that. Now, when you do that, you will see that the moon circles around Earth. There's one circle within a circle. The Earth and the moon circle around the sun.
Hmm.
There's another circle. Our solar system circles within the zodiac. There's another circle. So we have a wheel within a wheel within a wheel with four shrubs whose faces turn each way the wheels turn. So the four shrubs are our four pole stars. Sit outside all the circles. They change over a 26,000 year period, which is another circle. We see one pole star in the network for approximately 5,100.
Gotcha. JD, before we go any further, I got to ask you real quick. Are you watching yourself on Facebook by chance?
No, not at all. I'm sitting here chatting with you, Clarence. I already.
Okay. Yeah,
So
because,
I'm blasting off. I can see everything anymore. I'm around the moon.
now I'm only asking because we're getting an echo feedback from something here, and I'm wondering if maybe you were listening to yourself or watching yourself, if we were catching that. That's why I was asking. Let me see here if I got something else I can do here.
Let me try unplugging this mic and put it in a different port and see if that changes anything. Maybe it's going.
Yeah, do you got dual mics going or something?
Nope, I only have a single mic, but let me try that. Just a second.
Okay, sure. Yeah,
Does my voice sound any different when I unplug it?
there you go. Wow. Yeah, what a difference.
Okay, well now, am I fine still?
There you go. How's that
Okay.
sound, folks? Somebody type in the message for me. Let me know that it sounds better or not, or what's it sound like there.
Right, I won't need the headset if that's the case.
Yeah, I think that's what it was. I think you had a double. I think you had a double microphone thing going on there.
Let me move my chair a little bit closer. All right. Ting, ting, ting. That means intermission, folks.
There you go. Nice.
Okay.
That's what it was.
How's this?
Perfect. There you go.
Gotta get the seat comfortable. It's not the best. Okay. So where were we? We were.
All right, we're talking about Ezekiel with the wheels and within the wheels.
Within the wheels, within the wheels. Thank you.
Yep.
Okay, so what Ezekiel's talking about is he looked through the sea of glass, the telescope, the heavens parted. He saw the wheels turning within the wheels, so the moon going around the earth and the moon going around the sun, our solar system going around inside the zodiac, and the four pole stars outside of that, which are really above, going around in their circle 26,000 years. These four shrubs, which are the four faces, which are the pole stars, the four pole stars, each pole star has a character. Each pole star has a character. One pole star is a lion, one pole star is a bull, one pole star is a eagle, and one pole star is the angel man. So these are our four pole stars. These are the four faces that overlook the circles turning. The shrubs, if you want it. That. Because that's the name they were given back then, so it's a lost terminology. Brought back from thousands of years ago. It's completely astronomy, and Enoch was, excuse me, Enoch was my first clue understanding all this.
Mm-hmm.
When I broke Enoch down, Enoch is the seventh seed from Adam. He stopped to ponder his life at 30 years. He had his first child at 65 years. He talked to God at 300 years, and at 365 years, God took him. Enoch did not die. So I broke that down, and it was like, what it's telling you is our solar years calculated within Enoch. So he's the seventh seed from Adam, 7 days in a week. which God tells you in Genesis, He made the world in 7 days, the first week. So 7 days in a week, 7 seen from Adam. Stepped upon His life for 30 days, or 30 years, sorry. So you break that down, it's 30 days to a month. Had his first child at 65. 65 days from the beginning of the year is when you till the fields and you sow your seeds.
Wow.
At 300 years, you talk to God. 300 days from the beginning of the year, you harvest your fields. At 365 years, God took him. Enoch didn't die. At 365 days, the year starts over. It doesn't die. So I understood clearly Enoch was a solar equation hidden within his story of his life.
Hmm.
And I understood that Ezekiel was a theory by the circles within the circles in the shrubs. Totally astronomical. And when you get into Revelation, it's all astronomical.
Right, right. So let me ask you something. If that's the case, and then I like how you got that set up, by the way.
Well, there's much more in the Bible that's astronomical. I'm just.
Oh yeah, absolutely, absolutely. But my question is, my biggest question is, if this is the case, and that's how the story actually goes, or how it's supposed to be interpreted and stuff, where did they come up with the story to begin with? I mean, because the Bible is not as old as, let's say, the cuneiform text. Okay, the Bible didn't come along until many, many years later. So how did this? I'm sorry, you say that again. I stepped on
You
you.
know how they changed it. You know, we understand that Noah's story is, truthfully, Gilgamesh's story, which is 3,000 years older than Noah.
Right.
So that's just one of the things of the Bible that we can trace back to its origins. Same with a lot of the Bible verses that really pertain to the Ten Commandments, if you will. They come from the Egyptian Book of Dead. So we can actually trace their stories back and get to the roots of what they're talking about. And then look at the civilizations that.
So are you saying that some of these stories actually come from other writings then, and they're just put in the Bible as their own? That's what you're saying. Okay.
Exactly.
And I can understand some of them, like the flood and different things like that. I do know that they are also mentioned in many, many different literature, different things like that. But this particular story, I don't think is the same. Mm.
That's been documented. So
Mhm.
we know of that. Noah. We know of that.
Yeah, because I mean, there's all kind of legends and different other writings out there that definitely with the flood and different things like that.
New interpretations, like not new interpretations, but now being able to interpret cuneiform, Akkadian, Babylonian, Hebrew. People are finding stuff that's been stuck on the shelves in museums because it couldn't be interpreted, and now they're interpreted. We've seen that. Like there was a stone not too long ago. Not a stone, sorry. It was more like a cuneiform tablet with math on it. That predates our math over 1,200 years. Like advanced math procedures, trigonometry stuff. So because it got stuck on a shelf in the museum, they couldn't understand it. 100 years. Now that we understand trigonometry, so we can pick it up and go, wow, there's trigonometry.
Right.
3,500 years ago, sets it back, history back. That's the problem. We see that. And how much of it has been destroyed, melted down by conquistadors or whatever that we'll never get to, never know, never acknowledge. Never
Yeah, that's true. That's true. A lot of it did get destroyed. Yeah. So you got to base it on memory or from a story that's been told over the centuries, which can get watered down, so to speak, or whatever. Uh, you know, and there you have it.
All the various different denominations' Bibles to see what was hidden, try to piece it all back together. I went through the different cultures,
Mm-hmm.
It's amazing how many of these cultures, but you know this because you study it. We're such astronomy buffs. They based everything on astronomy, even where they built their houses pointing eastward. Everything. They
Right.
buried themselves in fetal position pointing eastward. They were astronomical precision part of this with what they did. The buildings, everything. Very advanced culture.
Hmm.
Now, so I've used various different denominations, Bibles. I've used the world traditions, their actual monuments that they created, everything to try to understand where history really got separated, where it should be put back together. I use some stitches where it
Hmm. Yeah.
not a whole lot of stitches work, but there are some things he got right.
Well, I agree. I agree with that. I mean, there are certain things he's got in his books that do show up in the text, like they're supposed to and whatever. But my main thing is like I said, the Anunnaki story and stuff like that. I don't know how he got all that like he did. I don't understand that. Now, a lot of people will dispute me on this, and I keep telling people go read the text for yourself, and you'll understand. Learn the definitions of certain words. I mean, and whatever. But they don't do it, obviously. Unfortunately, I should say, uh, and it's a shame.
A lot of people just follow.
Yeah, yeah, that's true. That's true. And it's sad. It really is. Um, I wish it could be different. I really do. Because I tell people, don't take my word for it. Go and look at it. And I even had it in PDF form so people could read it and different things, and nobody bothered with it. So, uh, kind of a sad thing. You can only do so much, I guess, to help people out and take it for what it's worth, I guess. Uh,
I see it like this. You watch civilizations, you see that they surge. There are things that make them surge, like a wave. Okay? You have these waves, and every now and then there's a big wave. And then that wave lasts for so long, it's a big wave. Then it
mm.
goes away.
Yeah.
That's what we are on right now with Simpsons research. We are on the crest of that wave, but it's falling. We're at that point where it's starting to fall.
Right.
Eventually, it's just going to go away. But
You
I
think
think
so?
within the next 10 years, anybody that brings up Simpsons is going to get ridiculed because of the information that's out there showing how much you got wrong.
Right. I hope you're right. I mean, I don't know. We'll see, I
I
guess.
see that all the time. There's a lot of people out there putting out the information, not just saying, oh, Simpson was wrong, but actually taking the time to school other people on how to find where Simpson went wrong.
Right.
So it's coming. More people will start to do it. A lot of people are getting fed up with the Ancient Aliens series. It doesn't present any facts whatsoever. A lot of what they present, you can actually look at and see they got wrong, completely
Mm.
wrong. They either made it up or they're. Here's what gets me with that show, Clarence. Honestly, these people on that show are not stupid people. They've
Yeah.
done research.
And that's a
So
shame. I mean, it's changed so much lately in the past year or so. Uh,
I can't see them not knowing the truth, is what I'm saying. So
yeah.
they are bold-faced lying to the public for fame and money.
You think they're really doing it on purpose, JD, or do you think it's just the fact that, well, I don't know. I mean, I guess you can look at it different ways because of the ratings that they need and yada, 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 and all this
Yep.
stuff. But, they go to these conferences.
You sign off on a piece of paper for the series they're paying you. They edit it the way they want to edit it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You
No,
know,
I totally get that part. I really do.
the show.
Yeah. But,
But there are characters on that show that are wholeheartedly stating that this is a fact. I refuse to believe that anybody who's done that much research in the monuments, I should put this politely. I refuse to believe that anybody would come up with a grade 8 belief on what these monuments are talking about and who made them.
Well, it's just, you know,
Really,
what really I think upset me here recently is with all this disclosure stuff that's been going on and stuff since December. And Giorgio, of all people, tweeted, and I had the tweet there somewhere. I don't know. I got it buried here. I'll have to look it up and probably post it again. But he actually said, you know, yeah, this is disclosure, you know, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, are you kidding me? Why would you, of all people, come out and say this? You know,
is it Richard Greer?
Yeah.
I can't remember his first name. His last name's Greer. Dr. Greer. Stephen Greer, sorry. Apologize. I was thinking Richard Gere, the movie star. Stephen Greer, the alien aficionado.
Right. Well, he's one of the guys that actually started this movement to begin with, and then Tom DeLonge jumped in on it. And as you know, right now, you haven't heard a word from either one of them as far as any of this stuff now, you know. And Grant Cameron, I just posted a post today. He did an interview with a couple of people, and he stated exactly the same thing that I did on my video that I did, saying that this was not disclosure, that this was more of confirmation than anything, you know, that they were doing an investigation, and that's all it was. And it cost X amount of dollars, blah, blah, blah. That's all that was, you know.
Stephen Greer's another person who does it for money and fame. He's not.
Of course he does. He does. Yeah, absolutely.
Whatsoever.
Absolutely.
There's so much hoaxy stuff he talks about that can so easily be shown to be false.
Yeah. And the shame about that is I used to be a Stephen Greer follower myself back in the day.
I can't say I was a follower, but I did look at his research that he was doing back in the 90s, early 2000s. I'm a UFO buff, people. I apologize if that flips your wing, but hey.
Right.
I want to fly a UFO. I want to fly. Now just get in for a drive. And if you guys are out there and you're listening, I promise, like 1947, I will not crash it this time.
There you go. Stop by and pick people up, take them around.
It would be a thrill. When I was a kid, I watched the lunar landing because I was 7 years old at the time. I wanted to be an astronaut. I was like, I want to walk on Mars. That would be the coolest thing. Unfortunately, I'm deaf in my left ear, so they wouldn't. I actually tried to sign up when I was 16, they wouldn't take me.
All right.
Not even mechanic, nothing. I could do nothing. They said.
Hey, let me. I got to ask you, JD. Do you think it's a real good idea that we're trying to go to Mars? Do you think we should really go there?
Scam. It's a scam, folks.
You think it's a scam? Really? Yeah.
Until they can. Now listen, if you watch astronauts on the ISS and you watch them when they get back to Earth, whether they spent 6 months there or 300 days, your muscles, doesn't matter how much exercise you do, your muscles turn to basically water. So when you actually watch them when they're coming off the space shuttle,
oh, absolutely, yeah,
they cannot walk.
Right.
So you send people to Mars, which is a 6-month trip. You need to give them some type of imitation of gravity so that they can walk when it comes time to get off the rocket when they get to Mars. Unless you've got some little rocket hovercraft that they can strap into and float all over Mars with. But remember, this is a one-way journey. We're not going to be. This is bare bones deal, people. This is like cut price. You don't even get peanuts for a snack. There's no halfway through movie to watch. It's a one-way trip.
Right. Well, here's my problem with it. I'm afraid that, if we go to Mars, there's two things that's either going to happen or maybe both. I don't know. But one of them is we're going to wind up contaminating whatever's left on Mars. If there is microbial life or whatever, we'll probably wind up killing it the first time that we land there or walk around on it. Secondly, I'm afraid of what they may bring back, you know?
That's probably why they're not allowed to come back.
Well, yeah,
Bring back whatever's there, wipes out everything on Earth, kills, makes our planet barren too. Oh no! Somebody just say alien?
yeah, exactly.
Not that kind of creature coming back, people. A marsupial bug like a cold or a flu that wipe out mankind. Possibility. You don't know what's on the other planets.
No, you don't.
Period.
No, you don't. And I mean, they got this rover up there that's been up there for X amount of years now, doing its probing and taking pictures and doing whatever. And yet we haven't really found anything with that either. I mean, I don't know what information they're actually gathering anymore.
It can only gather so much because it runs on solar, so it has to be within sunlight for it to be generated. And a lot of times they try to keep it out of the dust storms, but it does get into dust storms and will shut down at times. However, they only have a certain period of time. Rover's life expectancy, say, they send it up, it's good for 18 months. Mm-hmm. So they have rovers sitting there doing nothing because they're dead now, dead body.
Right.
They're so So it's interesting times we live in.
Well, it is. Absolutely. And things are kind of going pretty quick as far as that goes. I mean, we got so much going on. I mean, we just had Mollusk rocket, take off. I don't know what to think about that. I watched it live. I posted it. Everybody watched the rockets go off. The two boosters came down like they were supposed to, blah, blah, blah. But all of a sudden, we lost the damn car that's floating around out there. And now it's headed somewhere between Mars and wherever, So I'm wondering if that part of it was even real or not. I don't know. I can't tell you for sure. It looks and sounds kind of hoaxy, but who knows,
As I say, it reminds me of NASA's XB-70 spaceport. They sent that thing up. Oh, it got lost. We don't know where it is. 300 days later, it comes back. Right? There it is. Sure. Yeah. Secret spaceport. Not tell anybody about it.
Rebecca, in our chat there, she says that at some point humanity will not have a choice. We will eventually have to leave Earth to survive. A lot of people believe that, and I often wonder if that is the case, being that we're destroying Earth as bad as we are. We may wind up just killing everybody off or whatever before it all ends anyway. I don't know. Or there may be another cataclysmic event that maybe it's going to wipe us all out and Earth will regain and start all over again. I don't know. But, yeah, good comment, though. I like that.
Done in the 40s, I believe it was, about exactly what we're talking about. Humanity overpopulating Earth, I guess you could say, and overusing its resources. So according to the study, that tipping point was around 1970. That had we not fixed it by 1970,
right,
we were past the tipping point.
Yeah, but look what we did. We wound up getting nuclear power plants running,
However, there are solutions. There's always solutions, people.
Yeah, but are they going to use them? That's the next question. Because and I know that if there isn't money to be made, they won't use them. That's what it's all about is who can make the most money on the next invention or the next free energy or whatever.
It's not about the eye, it's about the global. It's about everyone.
Yeah.
There is ancient technology on this planet that, if made operable, which wouldn't take much, we could feed all third world nations, and that wouldn't be a problem. We wouldn't have starvation whatsoever. There's also, once we've talked about this, free energy
Right.
via Tesla and other people, and back engineered technology that's already here on the planet. We wouldn't need to be wasting precious resources.
Well, I tell you what, though, you know, I'm sitting here thinking about all this, and what's really scary me right now is the fact that we're even changing our food products, you know, with all this GMO stuff and everything else going on. Uh, it's kind of a scary thing, you know. Our water is all fluoridated, you know, with other contaminants in it. We can't even have fresh drinking water anymore. I mean, what the hell?
Unfortunately, when it comes, okay, for GMOs, that's got to be stopped. That's just, we can't allow that whatsoever. Fluoride waters, we need them, people. That if you did not have fluoride waters, you would not want to drink what's coming through your tap. Trust me. So it's a purification system. Yes, it's over purified. We don't need that much. We need a better filtration type of system. It's out there. We just, our governments don't use them properly. Like what right mind says, hey, let's build a pipeline right beside a river where millions of people drink from.
Right.
You know, if that pipeline breaks and contaminates the river, not only the people out of water, so are the animals. Who in the right mind says, hey, this is a good idea?
Right.
It's not a good idea. The trade-off is not a good idea.
No.
The environmental cost is not a good idea. So these ideas have to go. We don't need to run off of oil and coal anymore. We have advanced technology that's beyond that. We have a food generating system on the planet that will feed all the nations. So what we really need to do is wake up to the fact that it's the few that are controlling the many. We put them in power. We can take them out of power. People realize that. That's in your constitution. And you can do it without firing a shot.
Right.
Now, when you do that, you need to replace. You have to be ready to replace your government.
You think that's ever going to happen?
Certain places in the world are getting ready. Look at, was it Iceland? They overthrew their government, and look at how they don't have the problems they had before. They were in the red. They're in the profit now. Got rid of all the crappy buying bankers. They're doing pretty good over there. So is it possible? Yes, it's possible. And you do it without firing a shot. That's
Right.
great. Take back your silver. Yeah, you're going to have to give up certain things. But is it worth it? That's what it comes down to. Is it worth it? And you're right, Terrence. I've thought about our global population program and the overpopulation system that we have. We don't really have an overpopulation problem. What we have is a continent problem. We're not using our continents properly for what each continent is. It's a jewel on its own. Each continent has its own gift. So we use them for what they should be used. We have enough. Heck, right here in Canada, there's enough area to put the world's population.
Right.
Just to live. So we don't really have a world overpopulation issue. We have an ideal control civilization population for those that are in charge. That's what I'm talking about. And as I said, it's the few and we're the many. So we could actually stand up and take it all back. It means rewriting your constitutions. It means readjusting your governments. It might take a couple of years before it actually gets down to running like a science perfectly, of course. But you have to be ready for that adjustment. It's not like, oh, all of a sudden all the corporations, businesses are going to shut down, everybody's out of a job. It wouldn't be like that at all. Just replacing the government with people who are actually going to govern. Not governing people, but governing the laws. There's a difference.
Right.
People, they don't govern the laws.
It's a good point. Yeah, good point.
47, when Israel was created, given its title as sovereignty, they asked Albert Einstein to be the first prime minister because they understood not because he was intelligent, it had nothing to do with it. It had to do with the fact that he was humanitarian, that he would do a good job for the people.
Mm-hmm.
He turned it down. He didn't want the job. He knew it actually wasn't that he didn't want the job. He didn't want anything to do with Israel for his research, but he didn't want to do anything that's still for him.
Right.
He just didn't want to be involved in religion like that type of thing. However, they had it right. Give it to humanitarian. They'll do the best job, even though they don't want to do the job.
Hmm.
And that's how we create a global civilization, one country after the other. No borders. It's ridiculous.
Well, I think it's always been a damn shame that other countries are kind of so-called behind us as far as everyday living and whatever. I mean, you got some countries that they're still what we call poverty. Of course, in their eyes, they're living a good life, which sometimes I believe it. They don't have the wants and worries that we do. But
Other countries have it worse.
some of them
Africa.
do. Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Yeah,
The huge population of Africa
yeah,
is a poor nation.
yeah.
Yet they're probably the richest resource nation in the world for gems and precious stones. Really. They are the richest nation in the world, yet they have the most poverty. It's because there's too many people over.
So let me ask you something, JD. What would it take to get everybody to catch up to be on the same playing field, so to speak? What would that take? And would it or could it ever happen as far as that goes?
Oh, it's going to happen. There's no doubt about it. It's one of those things. Technology's bringing us all closer together.
But what
And
about these third world countries, though? I mean, do you think they'll be able to use the technology or?
once we get there to help them, once the other nations that are advanced enough gain their sovereignty and freedom, that's what they'll do. That's what really it's all about. You
Mhm.
can't help yourself without helping the other.
Unless they get left behind. See, that's my worry is I don't want to see people getting left behind. I want everybody in the world to be the same.
Yeah, I understand what you're saying, but again, that's replacing the government. Once you replace the government, the infrastructure is there to rebuild those third world nations.
Yeah, see, I don't know how that's going to work.
It's
I
going
don't.
to
I just, of course, I'm sitting here. We're sitting here in the USA and we're saying this. You know what I'm saying? And
but it's one of the countries that are so far behind on getting to the point where you need to be. I know I apologize, people. I do. I stay right out of politics. I am 56 years old. I never voted in my life. I do not know what it looks like inside a voting booth. I couldn't tell you what a voting card looks like. I've just never voted because
right.
I'm not going to let some crooked partner to make decisions for me. And they're all crooked.
Yeah,
Well,
I don't blame
get
you.
rid of them all and put in people that are humanitarians.
Well, if anybody remembers me back in the especially in the last voting cycle, I voted no for either or. Uh, you know, am I glad Trump is in other than Hillary? Yes. Do I think he's the right guy? No. But like I tell people, he was neither a politician to begin with, which is a plus for me as far as that goes. You
You got to
know,
realize that you're going to get one or the other. If you know what I mean, you're going to get. It doesn't matter what you. Obama should have made that clear to everybody. We got this very sweet man who loved his wife and children and made it very clear that they were like first in his life.
Right. Right.
And his country meant more to him than his own life. He made that very clear for his term in presidency. And he made all these promises about this, that, and this is how we're going to change it, and we're going to make things good again. And as soon as he was elected, if anybody remembers, he won the Peace Prize. He didn't do anything to get elected president. How do you get a Peace Prize for being president?
Yeah.
Now, in his career, Obama dropped more bombs than any president. So here's a sweet, loving God telling you, we the people, we're going to do it right. Bombing the hell out of other countries more than any president has ever done before.
Right. Right.
So it doesn't matter if you would have got Hillary or you would have got who you got, Donald Trump. They're telling you one thing, but they're doing something else.
Yeah. Well, it isn't really the president's thing though, because he's actually working for Congress or whoever. I mean, they're the ones that call the shots. You know, he's just kind of a fallout guy as far as that goes. I mean, you know, whoever it may be. But
Our prime minister did the same thing when he came in as prime minister. Everybody thought he was going to be a great prime minister. They elected him right away. I was like, don't vote for that guy. That's what his father did to our country. Forget about him. Anyhow, first thing our new prime minister did was sign an agreement with the United States to fly drones over our country.
well, I got to be honest with you.
Country, and if we're going to fly drones, why don't we fly our own drones?
This is true. Here's the thing, though. I tell people, and it's kind of funny. A lot of people don't look at it like I do, and I'm not a big a big politics person. I really could care less in a sense, you know. But then again, everything does affect us one way or the other. But here's something that I tell people is the fact that back when Kennedy was alive, he was basically our last president that made all the damn decisions and went by his ruling. After he was done in, that's when it all changed. You know, it was no longer the president had a voice. You know what I'm saying? It all went to the cabinet and the states and whoever, blah blah blah. So that's where I think the big change actually happened is when he was ousted. God rest his soul, but I think he was the last actual chief, so to speak. After that, it all went nuts. After that,
Wow. Yeah. Yeah. When he was assassinated, it was a sad time in the history books. Not just for America, right across the planet.
Mm-hmm.
What he could have done.
But now that's just my opinion, folks. I'm just stating that. That's
It would have been a different place had he stayed allowed to live. He had some great plans, some good ideas on where he wanted the United States to go. It's unfortunate.
Yeah, it is. It very well is. Yeah.
Just all the great people in the world, they don't make it for long term. So I mean, I can see why not everybody, these people that end up like that, a lot of them don't want that.
Well, that's true too. That it is.
They just end up that.
Yeah.
Like, look at God. He didn't set out to save the Indian nation. He did. But he was assassinated for it.
Right.
And others in the past.
Well, on to a different subject real quick before we run out of time here. Not that it really matters much, but
yeah. Got base on Mars or anything like that, Chris? You want to go there? Or?
Yeah. Actually, that's where I'm headed. But first, I want to ask you something. It had to do with another post. I think I seen it in one of your rooms and stuff. It was about the dinosaur ordeal. You remember that post that you commented on earlier about the dinosaur?
Dinosaur. Let's see. Are you talking about the comet impact of Chicxulub down near Yucatan Peninsula, or are we talking about the
Well, I'm talking.
fossilized footprints that were found and human footprints found with them? Or am I talking about something you're not talking about?
Well, no, that one post that you commented on earlier, where it talked about how the dinosaurs were destroyed, by the ET and stuff, and you know, um, and how man, walked with dinosaur or didn't walk with dinosaurs or whatever, and blah blah blah. What's your input on that or your insight on that? I'm just kind of curious.
Well, we have fossilized records of human footprints beside dinosaurs. Now, these human footprints are no difference in size than we are here, folks.
Correct.
But
Yeah.
the dinosaur prints are huge.
Right.
Now, our geologists don't know if that was some guy in his pet dinosaur. It's not likely. It's probably hunting the dinosaurs like the birds. Their footprints are fossilized with dinosaurs' footprints he's following. Now, we have common degree. We know what impact, asteroid impact the zones are that they don't affect dinosaurs 5 million years ago, which is a lot created down on the Yucatan Peninsula.
Mm-hmm.
So that wasn't an alien. That was a asteroid time.
Right.
Really huge thing. Which Earth does go through.
Yeah, we just haven't really seen a big one ourselves yet. That's all. You're not that big.
Yeah, we actually had it recorded. Let's see if I can get the date right. I got flamed for this in a conversation, man. That was the only thing I got wrong was the year. I was like, oh,
right.
Really?
That's okay.
1908, against the event of Russia happened. That wiped out 500 miles of trees in a forest. There wasn't anything really living there to.
Oh, you're talking about the Tugusta incident?
This kind of event, yes, in
Yeah.
1908, it was.
Yeah.
It was an airburst, right? They didn't hit the ground.
Right. It never hit the ground. It exploded above ground. Yeah, that's right. Yep.
Look at the damage it did.
Yes. Yeah.
That happened over New York City or San Francisco or Japan or London or Toronto or that city be gone.
Yeah. Yeah. You're absolutely right. It's worse than a nuclear blast. Yeah. Absolutely.
We're stripped there and laid down like matchsticks.
Mm-hmm. No, that's the truth. That's very well the truth. And I often wondered, obviously something hit the earth back in the day. It tilted on its axis. We still have the wobble effect and all that stuff. We know all this, but what's to say that something like that incident didn't happen before or even after that and, wiped out another section or whatever. You know what I mean?
I understand what you're saying. But it's actually theorized that way back in the day when it was heavily into aliens, UFOs, and all that. Is it possible that the aliens directed an asteroid comet to the Earth to wipe out dinosaurs so that they can take control of the planet?
I've heard that theory before. Yeah.
So years ago, it doesn't make any sense studying astronomy. And now let me explain this way: if there's a civilization advanced enough to direct comets and asteroids into another planet to wipe out the species there, why wouldn't they just create a bug and send it there and kill it?
Okay. Well, that's a good question. Now, let me ask you this now.
Harming the planet in its atmosphere.
Right. Now, let me ask you this. If that's the case or not the case or whatever, you go back now, like we were talking earlier about the cuneiform text and the story of Anunnaki and, his mission and whatever, or their mission, wasn't that basically the same thing that happened from where they came from?
Well, kind of not the way Sitchin tells it. Sitchin tells
Right, right, yeah.
he tells it that the planet entered our solar system. One of its moons entered our solar system and collided with the planet named Tiamat and knocked it off its trajectory, and that became Earth, and our moon is part of the broken piece off of Tiamat.
Hmm.
Now he says that they come every 3,600 years, and they planet jump. They jump from their planet to our planet to get the gold in.
Right.
On Earth.
Right.
First off, none of that makes sense. It's easier just to go. Gold, folks, comes here via comets and asteroids, so it's much easier just to go to a comet and asteroid than try to dig it out of a planet where it's been shattered into millions of pieces.
Right. Right.
That kind of technology, you can capture a comet or an asteroid and mine it in your own solar system, in your own atmospheres. So some of these stories that were 50 years ago, technology and modern sciences and astronomy have updated it so we can look clear at the story and go, okay, this kind of makes sense, or no, this doesn't make sense whatsoever. So his theory on that doesn't make any sense. Now, 3,600 years, there's nothing in our geology records that shows us there was a global devastation every 3,600. Nothing whatsoever.
Mm-hmm.
He's wrong about that. Of course, we didn't know about that 50 years ago. We do now.
Well,
we got no global geological reports of global devastation. But the closest one for global goes back 15,000 years. That's the globe. We've had pockets of devastation. Yes, there's been floods here and there, but that's not global. Now, again, it's easier to mine a comet an asteroid for gold. In fact, our astronomer scientists are talking about doing that themselves.
right.
If you're really advanced, you would use monatomic gold. You would create it yourself. You wouldn't need to mine for it.
Yeah, you could just make it. Yeah.
So
Alchemy.
all they go out the window. All you got left is now is a planet coming by and aliens jumping off and coming to visit every 3,600 years. That's all you got left in the story once you strip it back.
Here's my whole question on that. I don't mean to interrupt you, but what does gold have to do with atmosphere anyway? I mean, seriously.
Well, that was a story that he took from our science pages. Because of the fluctuation of radiation due to our sun destroying our atmosphere, our scientists believe that if we put flecks of gold out in space beyond our stratospheres, it would actually reflect the radiation back away from our planet.
You know how much gold? You know how much gold that would take to do that? I mean, seriously, come on.
If you start the CSI history of everything, straight back to it, you get down to what the facts truly are. Just the facts, please. You just look at it and you go, okay, this is a comic book story and nothing more. Now, when I say that, folks, I'm being a little bit rude. He got two things. Sitchin got two things right. There was help engineering.
Right.
There was another species that helped engineer humanity. He got that right. He also got it right that our solar system goes through a catastrophe. That's all he got right. The rest is all made up.
But we already know this stuff.
Exactly.
Right?
But he made a great story out of it.
But we already know this stuff. That's nothing new. I mean, really?
Tied Star Trek into it and some Star Wars.
Right, right.
You have the Anunnaki coming from Nibiru. First, here's another thing, guys. When you actually understand cuneiform, you start to read the cuneiform text, what it's talking about, especially the Sumerian, where Sitchin took it from. He claims certain text is a rocket ship, which is not a rocket ship, but regardless, if it was a rocket ship, why are advanced species showing up in a 1970s type rocket ship when clearly they're in UFOs?
Well, that's true. But here's, well, you know what though? I can kind of understand how that came about, because when you're talking about something that ancient, uh, it would be like the beginning of rocketry to them. Um,
But yeah,
where by the time the 70s rolled around, they were already so far advanced that, rockets are nothing, I can possibly see that.
yeah, I agree with what you're saying. But
Yeah.
we use a 1970s rocket, stage 3 Saturn rocket to show cuneiform text that was talking about our zodiac system. And he used that as a rocket.
Right. Maybe.
That's why it's drawn like the zodiac house. But
Right.
the rocket. If you ever look at, I believe, you can find that iconography. You can actually find it. I have it somewhere. I'll pull it out. I got over 10,000 pictures on my computer. So I will pull it.
Wow.
The picture, if you look at it closely, what he's got for frames coming off the rocket, it's a stairwell in this house.
Right.
So
Right.
modern technology, modern knowledge, astronomy, we can go look at what he had and reinterpret what he got wrong. And of course, like I said, a lot of he got wrong is 50 years old. Technology's come a long way in 50 years. Some people have actually come out and decided to study a cuneiform because they were a situ thing.
Mm-hmm.
And then realized, wait a minute, this isn't what is in there.
Right. Rebecca wrote in a comment. I kind of like this. She says, maybe our ancestors had no choice but to come here from a dying planet, maybe with a population so low that they created us to mine for them, worship them. Maybe we rebelled and they left, still watching and observing and experimenting.
Thank
Yeah.
you, Rebecca.
Yeah.
On my website, there is an article titled I Am Nothing. We go through the history. We break it down. We use science. We use factual history. We use modern astronomy. And you are right, Rebecca.
Mm-hmm.
I'll put it in a nutshell. If you go read the article, you're going to find out that in our solar system, we have an inner asteroid belt.
Mm.
That inner asteroid belt held a water-bearing planet such as Earth.
Sure.
That planet had an advanced species that was mining Mars and Earth. That planet got hit by a quasar and exploded.
Mm-hmm.
The explosion ripped the atmosphere from Mars and caused the dash, killing all the miners that were on Mars. It also caused havoc on Earth. But the miners on Earth survived. Now, they could get off the planet, but they couldn't go anywhere because their whole planet was gone and Mars was stripped.
Right.
Those were the survivors. Those were the ones that upgraded our DNA. No, we didn't mine for them. We were farmers. That's what we did for them.
Right.
They used the advanced machinery. You farm. You did the menial task, just like it says in the Bible, Genesis. It's all right there. You have to strip away the bull and get to the truth. Very advanced science, very advanced astronomy. And when you get into it, it's really hard to go, no, this isn't right. Now, this species that was on this planet in our asteroid belt, no longer there.
Right.
They couldn't get off of it. And they knew that they were going to die out, eventually die out because of the difference in density. They were in the 5th planet. We're on the 3rd planet. The density factor, big difference. So they're taller, skinnier, fairly white, not that much hair. We're shorter, very, very dark, very black complexion, with thick, curly black hair. That helps us to ward off the solar radiation because we're closer to the planet. They don't need it much. So their density factor makes them more taller. They don't need as much hair, and they're whiter, burn like it does us on our planet.
Hmm.
Their DNA mixture with ours has created the species we see today. Our planet's original species would have been the Negroes, the Australian Aboriginals,
Right.
India. Those colors, those type of features, those type of hair. Now they were broader and shorter and stockier. Because of density. Interbreeding with them changing our DNA
Hmm.
changed us. Now
Right.
they knew they were going to die off. They knew that. They were so advanced, they understood it. They upgraded our DNA so their intelligence, their wisdom, their knowledge would live on. They're not coming back, my friends. These are the true elongated skulls we find in certain areas of the planet. They're the species from the missing planet in our solar system. So when Sitchin says that a planet in our solar system got wiped out, he's right. But it wasn't Earth.
Right.
It wasn't. Now when he says there was this off-world species that integrated with humanity, he's right. But they didn't come from outside our solar system. They're the fifth planet from our sun.
Right. And see, I often wondered about that too, because now I've always believed, and I've always said this, that the asteroid belt was another planet that got collided into and destroyed or whatever. I often also said that Mars was probably at one time very habitable and probably was a lot like Earth. And it's very possible that it got pushed out far enough away from the sun or whatever where things got, destroyed or whatever, and was no longer habitable. And Earth got moved into the place where Mars used to be, so to speak. Or it was formed out of the debris, that happened during the other cataclysm, whatever. I'm not really sure about all that. To me, it's just a theory that I've been always, working on.
I've studied astronomy quite a bit, and really nowadays with the finds of the exoplanets and all that really helps out to explain what I've been talking about. The fact that planets have to be a certain distance within their solar system to their planet, to their sun, to be habitable, to have water, which the heat causes the condensation, which causes the water.
Right.
So that has to be so certain distance to the sun for this to be.
That's right.
They call it the Goldilocks. So
Right.
yes, it's possible two planets close enough to its sun that aren't interfering with each other could be happening.
Mm-hmm.
And through research I conducted, which you can find out on my website, it explains the Nephilim, who they were, what Nephilim actually means. It comes from the word Nephilim. I often take the words back to their original meanings to get the proper translation of what it means.
Cool.
And that means basically of human form, but to fall. Fallen in the human form. So in other words, fall of mankind.
Sure. Wow, that's cool. Well, let me ask you something, JD, being we're on this kind of subject about planets and whatever. Now, it's always been my synopsis also that the ET, like the Greys and, we'll throw in the reptilians and the tall whites and whatever else we got out there. Do you really think that they live that far away, or do you think they're in a neighboring planet within our galaxy, or do you think they actually come from a different galaxy? I'm just kind of curious.
Well, honestly, Clarence, I've heard so much about various different aliens and how many different aliens there are in the Galactic Federation. And I don't want to insult anybody, I really don't.
Well, no, it's you won't hurt my feelings any. So
life forms can live where. Now, there isn't anything close enough for us to get here. unless they had such an advanced technology. They could use a wormhole or some type of gravitron. We know ourselves the closest habitable star system to get to for us would take us. It's a 60-year trip to go there and back.
Right.
But
Right.
you're not going to live through it.
Yeah.
Basically, you
Yeah.
got to be 20 years old to go on the ship, say roughly, right, before you can learn enough to be an astronaut. 60-year trip means you got to be over than 80 to get home.
Hmm.
So, looking at what we know from science and astronomy, they need some type of system that can do it. Now, to travel at the speed of light, according to Einstein, you will not only shorten your lifespan, you'll also shorten yourself.
Sure.
So when you say grays, to travel at the speed of light, you're compacted. Okay? Compacted density again, you're compacted. So according to Einstein, you would be roughly about 4 feet tall at that speed. Roughly a 5'9" man would be approximately 4 foot tall, condensed, traveling at light speed, which is approximately what this height of a gray is. Just say it. Just throw that out there. That's a very interesting equation because traveling at the speed of light, you know how many years it would take to get here?
Right.
So that's why he came up with the wormhole theory, because speed of light doesn't cut it. You wouldn't make it in your lifetime. So he came up with the wormhole theory by bending space.
Or the bending of space, where he said that you could actually fold space and go through the middle of it, yeah. Yeah. Which would
That's
make
a
it
wormhole. So he came up with that theory to overcome
right.
travel at speed. Because he couldn't find a mathematical equation that goes faster than the speed of light. So that said, we have to find a way that these species could do that before we can even begin to understand it. Now, the other thing I'd like to state is, when it comes to aliens, I stated earlier that they don't cause any harm, which was true. But they haven't given us any help either, which is true. So,
well, I don't know. Yeah.
now I thought.
I guess. Well, yeah, I don't know.
Say that they abducted Tesla, and they abducted Einstein, and they abducted Newton. They gave up, and that's how we get the knowledge. You could say that. It hasn't done any good. You know what I mean?
Right. Right. Yeah, because we still haven't figured nothing out with Einstein's theories or anything. So yeah, we're still left scratching our heads over it.
Tossing nuclear. We're still building nuclear bombs. We're still warring.
Yeah. Yeah.
Folks, if you're out there, if you're really out there and you want, you're benevolent species, help us. Show us that there is a better way, a better life for our species. So when it comes to aliens, I have a difficult time believing that there's really out there. And not that, don't get me wrong, I'm not saying I don't believe that in the universe there are another species or even more advanced species. I do believe that. But are they acting with humans? That's the concept I have a hard time believing. Because they haven't offered anything. If they're going to take over the planet, they just send a flu bug, lay down, we wake up, and we'd be quarantined and controlled. That'd be the end of that. There'd be no, hey, aliens are coming.
Well, I agree. Yeah.
It would just happen. But they're good. They do the same thing. They wouldn't quarantine us or drug us or anything like that. They take over all the airwaves, internet, iPods, televisions. They don't need to go through our governments. They know our governments are corrupt.
Right.
We want to talk to the people. So we know.
That makes sense.
That's the way I look at things. I know it may not be the right way to look at it, but I try to answer with modern.
Well, at this point in time, JD, I don't think there is a right way to look at it. I'll be honest with you. I mean, it very well could be that we're all right. I mean, maybe there is a certain species that's actually living here on Earth right now as we speak. Maybe that there's one that lives on Pluto for all we know. I mean, who the hell knows for sure? Anybody's guess is as good as anybody else's guess, I guess. Yeah.
We'll get back to Stephen Greer for a moment. So I just want to make this aware
Yeah.
so people understand. Huge advocate for aliens. Huge advocate.
Yeah.
You can't tell the difference between a UFO and a government black ops project.
I agree. I agree. Yeah. Everybody knows how I feel about it, but yeah.
Everything in the air is alien. Everything in the air is UFO, and UFO means unidentified flying object, not alien frequency overdrive.
Yeah.
We don't know what it is. Governments all over the world have black object projects, not just our governments. Don't you think the other governments are trying to outdo the United States with what they have?
Oh, absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely.
But not everything you see in the sky is alien.
Right.
That's it. Stephen Greer, huge advocate for aliens. He turned his tail pretty quick when he got to meet Dr. Carol Rosen. And Dr. Carol Rosen, who's a friend of Werner von Braun's, who was godfather of rocketry for NASA, who put man on the moon with his Saturn V rocket.
Right.
He came out and said it's all a hoax, people. This is New World Order. It's all a hoax of using technology to snare everybody. Now, when Dr. Greer met Carol Rosen, she informed him of all this. So he's kind of now flipped. He doesn't know what to do now. Because if she's right, and Werner von Braun stated all this in the 1970s, and everything he said has come true. Everything he said.
Right.
Gave clues along the way. Everything he said's come true. If she's right, we're being prepped for a false alien invasion, which is going to create a world order, just like 9/11. As soon as the towers dropped, everybody said, okay, we can't do it without you, government. Go ahead. Take our freedom. Take the Constitution. We'll strike the Second Amendment. We'll remove habeas corpus, which is against every person's freedom in the United States. Go ahead, government, you own us now.
Right.
Use of habeas corpus from 9/11. They can now put you in jail indefinitely without charging you of a crime and take all your belongings, your house, your car, your bank account.
Right.
It's your Constitution.
Scary.
They got control of it because everybody got running to the government and said, oh no, we're being invaded. We can't do nothing without you saving us. My friends, that was preliminary run for what's coming down the pipe.
So you actually believe in the New World Order then yourself? You think it's going to happen?
It's the New World Order and one world religion. Yes, you can see it. You've never seen any of the popes in the history of the Vatican go to Parliament. The new pope did. He sat in on Parliament. He was flexing his muscle.
But don't you think, though, that if this was the actual case, well, okay, I said, all right, I get what you're saying, because you're saying they're going to fake an actual alien invasion. That's what they're going to do. It's not going to be a real one. It's going to be a fake one. That's what you're actually saying.
It look real. The machinery is going to be real and everything. It's all going to be ours. They're doing it now. All these projections we see in the sky, we've read about them on the internet.
Animation, yeah.
Japan, Mary and Jesus walking on the clouds.
Well, I'm going to tell you something. I'm going to say this. And I don't want to start a conspiracy or anything like that, but I've had people actually tell me that 9/11, when the two buildings went down, the Twin Towers and that, was kind of a a testing procedure on all this fakery stuff.
Well, this is what I was saying. But we know the towers went down. That wasn't fake.
Well, no, we know where they went. I was there. I know. Yeah. I mean, I had to take stuff in and out of there. So, yeah, I know it was real. But the way it was done with the aircraft and, the way the buildings come down, the whole 9 yards, it was all a set up deal. People are saying that that was kind of a preliminary thing to prove that it could be done and that they could actually fake something bigger than that. And that's what they're doing. I mean, that's,
That was a test procedure.
right, right. Yeah.
Just, while the population would participate.
Yeah. But instead of blaming it on towelheads, we'll be blaming it on ET next time. I mean, that's what they're saying,
Oh, there's more than that coming down. They're going to take everybody.
You think so?
If you follow their footsteps, what they're doing, and I'm going to lay it right out. And if you want me to write an article where you can actually go and find the information, we're using Tesla technology.
Oh, well, if you got that kind of information, I'd definitely like to know about it.
You're going to create a false alien invasion. The moment our whole globe is terrified of this false alien invasion, Jesus is going to show up and save everybody. And now you have your new world order, one world religion. Everybody's just giving it away. Giving it away. Nobody can save us. The world was going to be destroyed, taken over by aliens. We're all going to be eaten. Jesus comes up, saves everything. Every religion will fall right away. He is the Messiah.
Well, you know what that reminds me of, JD? That reminds me of the Orson Welles show they did way back in the day, and everybody heard it on radio, and they went out and some towns were shooting at water tanks, and people got killed over that, and it was just a radio program. I could not imagine now what would happen in this day and age if they had animation and actual
animation. We're talking 3D imagery.
Exactly.
Physical operating UFOs. Don't be surprised when you're looking at a human you think is Jesus Christ or a gray alien, and it's artificial intelligence robots. You can't even tell.
Well, I know what I've seen back in the day, and I've seen many.
I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about.
Well, no, I know, but I'm just saying. Well, I don't know what I'm saying right now. I don't. I don't know.
If there's real aliens out there, I sure hope they show up in the nick of time.
Well, I'm pretty positive about it. I'm just going to say that much. But that does not mean that what you're saying isn't true. I'm just saying, that doesn't mean what you're saying isn't going to happen and isn't true. I mean, it very well could,
All the signs are in place. Even the Vatican came out not too long ago and started talking about alien life form and all this. They're just prepping everybody, getting everybody ready. It's kind of ridiculous how people just gravitate toward that chat.
Sure.
Now, with the Pope, he was the head of the Jesuits, which is from South America. They're the only organization in the Vatican that dresses completely in black. Might kind of have, they got the white collar. Sometimes they have a red stripe. That's because unofficially, the Jesuits are the Vatican army. They have been accused of some very, very nasty crimes. But that Jesuit army, the general for that Jesuit army is now the Pope. That's Pope Francis. He was the head of the Jesuits of South America prior to that. He's also the boat that went and sat in on Parliament, in the United States Parliament, which no one posted that. He's flexing his muscle a little bit, come out, show himself,
Well, sure.
talking about aliens being, friendly and stuff like, or possibility and all that stuff. So there's more going on behind the scenes than what people really understand. I follow both of them closely. I follow
Well, I'm going to be honest with you, JD. I hope you're wrong about all this. I really do. You know, I really do. And what can I say?
Here's the thing, Chris. I hope I'm wrong, but Warner von Braun came out and said this in the 70s. And now Carol Rosenberg's saying it, Dr. Carol Rosenberg, because she got the information from von Braun. So I hope I'm wrong, but I'm not just basing it on what I see going on, basing it on why would the father of rocketry, guy who put men on the moon, why would he retire from NASA? Just
right.
Yeah. He said it was all a hoax. It's all fraud. And he laid it out. He said, first, there's going to be a Cold War. It was with Russia.
Yeah. Yeah, there was a Cold War. Yeah.
Then he said there'll be a no-name war. Well, we had that too. The covert war was turned into terrorism. No-name war.
Yeah.
He said that government would want to build space satellite weapons to protect us from incoming asteroids and comets. They announced that in the year 2000 that they were going to do that. And the next step is the fake alien hoax to create New World Order. He laid all this out in the 70s when he quit NASA. Yeah, he's saying he retired, but I don't think so.
That's interesting. Yeah, very interesting.
If he's right, and everything we've seen has come through, then there's going to be a fake alien invasion.
And what about us non-believers? What's going to happen to us when that happens? I mean, I'm going to know. I'm going to know if it's fake or not. I'm obviously, and I'm sure you're going to know if it's fake or not. So what are they going to do with people like us?
That's what the internet's about. That's what places like Facebook do. If they run tests, I'm sorry, people, you're all guinea pigs. They will run a test like the Flat Earth Society.
Oh my gosh! Yeah. You don't think that's all part of it, do you?
If you jump in on that, that's covert. If you jump in on that, they know they don't got to worry about you. You're going to show up when the aliens come. You're going to go show up when Jesus comes. If you jump in on that, that's what they're looking for.
Oh my God.
They're looking for the people that aren't in on that. Pokemon Go, my friends, that was a test run. They're not going to come get you. You're going to go to them. You're just going to show up at the FEMA camp. They're not going to go looking for you. That's too much. It's easier just to have the mouse come to the cheese.
Wow. That's you're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. If that were to happen, if that, yeah, I can honestly say I get your point on that. I honestly can say that because right now, look at all the flat earthers out there who are just hell bent and bound on pushing this down everybody's throat. Yeah, you're absolutely right. That's not the only thing, but yeah.
I gotta flame my sister right now. She put a post on my page today about if you fold the American money and twist it a certain way, you will get the Twin Towers. And if you fold it another way,
I seen that. Yeah, I seen that.
I told her, I said, don't even look at it. It's not worth it. And somebody else made a comment saying, don't discard it so easily. And I said, well, for me to actually believe this, then I would have to believe that in the 1930s when they design money. They pre-planned they were going to build the towers, that in 2001 they were going to destroy the towers, and then they're going to incorporate this into the money with their drawings.
Right, right.
Not possible. The towers were built in the 70s, money came out in the early 30s.
Yeah, they weren't thinking that far ahead, were they?
Well, that's a big plan. We're going to build the towers, and we're going to destroy them, and we're going to encode it in the money, too. But only if you fold money this way, this way, and this way.
Right.
No, that's government psyops to get you off of the truth.
Yeah.
And they see these people. It's like you're signing a list. You don't need to come and find me. I'm going to come to you because I believe this stuff.
Uh-huh.
So looking for the people that aren't coming on the list. Those are the people they got to worry about. Not the people that are going to show up at the FEMA camp.
Well, I'm not going to be one of them. They're going to have to come drag me out kicking. I mean, that's the way it's going to have to be. You know.
I just told you I'm wrong.
Yeah. Yeah, they're going to have to kick me.
What's going on? I follow what religions do to their people. They don't even follow their own freaking books. I mean, it's so ridiculous.
So what about, okay, let me ask you this, JD. What about religion then when it comes down to this point and this is happening? Are they going to call it the rapture? Or are they going to call it, you know, the you know, what, I mean, how are they going to explain all this?
They're going to fight, obviously, right? You're going to have the Judeans fight against the Islamics because they're going to want to get close to the Christians because Jesus is on their side. He's a Christian, right? He's
right, right.
So there's going to be that little interracial or interreligious war, but they're all going to concede that Jesus created miracles. Can't shoot the guy, can't kill the guy, can't do nothing to the guy.
Huh.
So, and he's saving the planet. So, yeah, they're all going to turn to him, to whoever's religion that is. For all we know, he can come in and form a brand new religion, form a brand new government, something we've never heard of before. That's it.
Okay, I got one ultimate question then. And I don't know how you're going to, I think I know how you're going to answer it, but I'm going to ask you this. With all the people right now, especially here in the United States, that does not believe a damn thing that the government says, how are they going to pull this off?
You guys think I'd be so separated in your country? You don't understand what's going on. I apologize. Trump is a very highly intelligent person. He's not a stick in the mud. He's not a dummy. He's not anything people think he is. He knows exactly what he's doing. He knows exactly how to divide and conquer. He's shown people this all his life.
Mm-hmm.
Divide and conquer is what he does. Did he not teach that during his television show?
True. Yeah.
That's what he's doing. He's got the country so divided. But it's them that's conquering because he has used divided.
But I'm just saying in general, you know, people don't believe the newscast. They don't believe the government. They don't believe anything that basically anyone else has to say. So how are they going to do this fake invasion? I mean, you know, for people to actually truly believe it, other than the flat earthers.
People are driven on fear. You see a UFO show up and it starts, who knows, maybe they take out a couple places like the Twin Towers just to drive the people into fear.
Mm.
I mean, it's quite possible that they don't really care about lives that much. You know what I mean? They'll use them as an example for it that way. You saw that with 9/11. 3,000 lives gone like that.
Right. Right.
They call it a, it's a commodity to them when they go to war and they lose lives.
Well, yes. I don't know. I don't know.
The fast people, the divided people, not divided anymore.
Well, I tell you what, I
Divided before 9/11 happened. Nobody was really happy. Bush was the president. It was a really controversy going on.
right,
9/11 happened. Boom. Everybody rallied behind it.
right. Well, I tell you something though that is troublesome to me right now is the fact that we got all of this space program stuff going on. You know, all this new research, all this. I mean, between the rockets that we're shooting up in the space right now, with Bigelow and Mollusk and all these guys doing their thing, you know, and all this disclosure BS that's going on and everything else. And then on the other side, we have, like we talked about before, with all this GMO crap and everything else going on. Uh, it seems to me like somewhere down this road that we're heading, that somebody's going to butt heads here pretty soon, you know.
They
And
already, we already see that.
so where, I mean, I don't know. How is it going to change? I don't, you know, that's, I guess that's what I'm kind of looking for. We're, you know,
What it does is it takes more control.
I mean, everybody is just going crazy right now. I mean, with everything that's going on, you look out, you know, and we're all just dumbfounded. I mean, I am right now at this point. Yeah, I don't know, you
They're
know.
doing enough since the 70s. If they can divide everybody and keep them confused, there's no way you're going to get together and rally against them.
And I see your point. I mean, I do. Well,
Sleight of hand, magic. No, seriously, it's
yeah.
just these little tricks that they use, but they do it. They do it. And they've been doing it for years, and they don't often change their tactics.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Well, I don't know. That's a big, big undertaking, man. That is one big undertaking. I just, you know, wow.
I thought they could get away with 9/11, didn't they?
Well, they did, but that's small. That's small time compared to what you're talking about, though. I mean, you know,
Oh,
like I said, that's, you know,
one that's doing this. There's a few governments that are involved in it together. They're going to reap the benefits on it together. And we become globally smaller as a nation while they have more freedom.
yeah. And what's going to happen to each nation? That's the next question. I mean,
There's first off, there's not likely going to be a population reduction. Now, when I say that, people don't think of it like, oh my God, they're going to kill a bunch of people. That's not,
well, some people already think that, but go ahead.
ridiculous.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous. Oh no, they're going to kill 6.5 billion people.
Yeah.
So,
Some people will tell you that already, but yeah.
I haven't really put on my website for them then under the Georgia Guidestones, understanding what they're really about. Because if you think about killing 6.5 billion people, well, now you've infested all the food, all the water. It's going to take hundreds of years for the bodies to decompose and go away. People that want the planet, those 500,000 now have to live underground until all the disease and everything's gone. 6.5 million bodies. Now you're going to kill people without killing the animals. That I want to know too. Because that breeds more disease. So these people that are going to do this, they're going to live and die underground. Some of the children are going to live and die underground before the planet's habitable for them to come up and live on.
Mm.
Bad.
Right.
So that's not what they're going to do. Everybody thinks that Gates wants to chip everything. And in a way, he does.
Right.
That's your population control, my friends. Population. If we don't have any children for 20 years, the only people are dying of natural, in 20 years, the population will decrease in half. Naturally.
Yeah.
It's natural.
Wow. Wow. Well, JD, I'm looking at the time here, buddy. It looks like we're almost out of time. We got a few more minutes. So closing thought, closing statement, what would you like to tell people before we get out of here. We got about 3-4 minutes here. So
Thank you for joining us today, everyone. We got off a lot of different topics, went into a lot of different areas. We didn't get too much into Enoch, one of my favorite subjects. I am writing an article on Enoch's Stargate to Dale, give an explanation of what the Gospel of Enoch is. I know I gave a rough explanation earlier with this timeline for a solar year, but there's so much more.
oh, absolutely. Yeah.
Look forward to that coming up in the future. Let's see. Got a website in Ancient Agenda, Facebook group named Ancient Agenda. Hi to my admins. Thanks for everything you do.
Cool. And to let people know out there that are joining us a little later, or listening in, I am going to have JD on here again very soon, and we're going to keep this going. We're going to pick this up, and hopefully we can gather up a few more, and we'll have a bigger webinar, and we'll get 3 or 4 people in here and get each other's brains going and see what they come up with, or whatever. I think that'd be pretty cool. So, we got a lot of very intelligent people out there, and people I want to get out here and get heard and, come up with their synopsis and their theories and whatever. And, I like to see what other people are thinking. So, yeah, be cool. So
I didn't even get to show my UFO. Next time.
That's right. Yeah. We'll definitely do that. No doubt. But in the meantime,
when you tuned in tonight's show from jumped in your time machine and came forward to see us, nano.
There you go. Yeah, nano, absolutely. Yeah. This particular show is being recorded, and I will download it. I don't know how it's going to work yet. This is our first night using this particular platform, but I will download it, and I will get it up on YouTube and on Facebook as soon as possible. So just bear with us, and we'll see how it works. JD, my friend, it's been a pleasure having you on here again, and we are definitely going to do this pretty soon here. I also got to get in touch with Jeffrey Boyd. I want to get him on here, and Omar, and a bunch of others, Neil and all them guys, and Leo, and all them. So yeah, I definitely like to get everybody's input and see what they say. So, but in the meantime, I hope everybody enjoys the rest of the week. Remember, tomorrow is Valentine's Day, so give your sweetheart a big hug and a kiss. And if you don't have one, well, make one up, I guess. I am somebody. Tell them you love them, right? So anyway, I hope everybody has a great evening and a great Valentine's Day tomorrow. So with that being said, we're going to sign out. JD, like I said, I love you, brother.
Thank you very much, Clarence. It's an honor to sit and chat with you. I love our conversations, bro. We get everywhere. Absolutely.
And I'll be talking to you here again, right after the show. We'll get together on Facebook or whatever, and we'll plan up our next deal. So we'll get this thing going. So pretty cool. All righty. With that being said, let's I'm going to move this up here, and JD, I'm going to say goodnight to you. So we're going to shut her down here real quick.
Thank you, everyone.
Okay. Here we go. And let's see here. Okay, folks. Well, until we meet again, like I said, peace out to everybody. And join us again here on Closer Encounters Alive. In the meantime, keep your eyes to the skies. Thank you all.